Hello and welcome along to an extra Betting Weekly game bet match. I'm Nigel Seeley, your host, and I'm delighted to say joining me to talk tennis. And it's the third round of the French Open men's singles. It's our senior ATP Tour handicapper. It's Sean Calvert. This show is brought to you in association with Bet Rivers, your hometown sportsbook. Good morning or good afternoon to you, Sean. How are you?
I'm all right, mate, thanks. I'm just trying to figure out my screen. So I've got a lot on my screen here. I'm just trying to get the right bits up. I'm all right, same as usual. Still virused up, but battling through as usual, yeah. I had car problems as well today as well, by the way. I couldn't get out of my car.
Oh, no.
Yeah, do you remember the Dukes of Hazzard?
Oh, yeah. I remember it for one reason and not the car.
Well, they never used to open the car doors, did they? They had to keep sliding in and out of the window. That's basically me now, because my car door won't open from the inside, so... There's another one of my many problems, but,
So you're going in the car through the window?
I'm not really doing that, but I could do that. That is one option.
Right.
I have to kind of shuffle out across the passenger seat and then get out that side. Unless there's someone in the car with me and they can get out and open the door. It's all, this is my life on a daily basis. This is what I have to cope with.
So why is the door not opening?
I think the spring's gone in the handle inside, so it doesn't do anything. So there you go.
Jeez. Well, I'm going to add to your... put me back out.
This is like a Saga Holidays tennis show, isn't it?
Yes, this is the... I put my back out this morning, and I've woken up this morning, and I'm in absolute agony, and I don't know how I've done it, but I mean...
Bottom, middle, top, or what?
Bottom.
So the base of your...
Bottom right, yes. Oh,
yeah, I've done
painful,
that before.
Painful.
That's what did me in Paris that time, if you remember. I couldn't sit down. You obviously can sit down by the look of it.
Well, I've got to keep very straight. I've got a pillow behind me here. But other than that, I'm in a bit of pain. But anyway, I'm all right. I'll soldier on. The show must go on, Sean.
Yeah,
the show must go on. And I'm surprised I only pulled this on you last minute when we realised that we had a full day's... Well, it was a rain delayed yesterday. But they managed, amazingly, to complete whole of the second round, which meant the third round plays today and tomorrow.
Excuse me, mate. I've got a bit of a cough problem here.
That's okay.
Yeah, it was all done
Welcome
eventually,
along
wasn't
to
it?
middle-aged problems.
This is just a virus. This can happen at any age.
The old back's gone. The old back's gone. The car.
Honestly, it's
It's
shambolic.
unbelievable.
Terrible health problems we have. What were we talking about? Yeah, it went on
We're
pretty
talking
late.
about the weather forecast.
But it was good tennis last night, wasn't it? The Ruud and Kaboli match and the Davidovich and Casper Ruud match, both cracking matches. It's just a shame that there was... they were all happening at the same time late in the day. It's been a drizzly old week, hasn't it? It's been awkward. It's been difficult. It's not been great for underdog winners, as usual. There's only 4 underdog winners in 32 second round matches yesterday. So it's been, as you would expect for the French Open, really, a favourites, a bonanza for favourite backers, and not so much for the value seekers like myself.
Well, there is 4 matches we're going to discuss for tomorrow. These are Saturday's matches, and they're quite interesting matches, actually. And there's a couple of underdogs here that I really like, which I'm hoping that you like as well. And as we record these shows, I never know what Sean's going to predict until he sends me the match he wants to talk about, and then we post the match, and I find out what Sean's thoughts are as the podcast develops. So I don't really know where you're going to go, but I'm hoping you're going in the same way as me, and I think that's obviously what a lot of people would like to hope. Well, the first match-up is a very interesting one for me. It's Novak Djokovic, the number 1 seed, who isn't playing like a number 1 seed. He isn't playing like Novak Djokovic has done over the years, and he's clearly on a decline. He's clearly struggling with some kind of form, and he's up against a man who's beaten him before in Lorenzo Musetti. The Italian players this week are doing incredibly well, both on the men's and the women's draw. Sinner's obviously doing well at the moment, and Arnaldi's 2 sets to love up in play as we're recording this against Andre Rublev, and he's up against probably one of the most talented young Italians of the bunch in Lorenzo Musetti. They've met 5 times before, 4-1 that Novak Djokovic has won, but obviously there was occasions when Musetti should have won, but he was a lot younger. The prices here are very heavy. Novak Djokovic minus 560. Lorenzo Musetti is $4. The spread is extremely high, 6.5, minus 109 for Novak Djokovic, giving up the 6.5 start. Musetti receiving 6.5 is minus 117. The total looks low again at 35.5. I really do think this could be a struggle for Novak Djokovic. They have met on clay on a few times on 3 occasions. The first one was the famous one here in 2021 when I actually bet Lorenzo Musetti to win the tournament at 500 to 1. He was only, 19 years of age then? He raced into a 2-set-to-love lead against the dominant Novak Djokovic, ran out of legs and then had to retire, lost 6-1, 6-love, 4-love, and then retired. Since then, 2 matches in Monte Carlo. I was in attendance at both of those matches. Musetti won 2-1 in 2023, and Djokovic came through 2-love in 2024. But let me tell you something, that 2024 match, Musetti had his chances to beat Djokovic.
Yeah.
He really did average, especially in set number 1. He had chances. He broke him. And the timing looks right here now for me to get rid of Musetti. I'm hoping that you're the same. There's a lot of markets I like the Italian in here, but what's your way of thinking here?
I actually think Djokovic will win, but I think it would be a struggle. I don't think it would be straightforward for him at all. The reason I think Djokovic will win is because I don't think it's a great matchup for Musetti. I think he has to play lights-out tennis to win sets. And, you know, he can do that. He's certainly more than capable of doing that. He did it in the first meeting, 7-6, 7-6, won the first 2, but then ran out of gas. As you said, the meeting this year, I think he was about 5-2, 5-3, something like that, wasn't he, in the first set? He does struggle to get over the line because he's got to play his peak level. I mean, I think it's going to be a tricky one for Novak Djokovic. I would expect him to come through if he's still physically able to play these longer points, because that's what does Musetti. Musetti struggles against players that will just wear him down, like Laszlo Djere, the fellow Serbian of Djokovic. He struggles against Djere as well because Djere just batters him on the backhand side until Musetti gets impatient and goes for one and misses it. Djokovic kind of similar-ish sort of thing with Djokovic, obviously a slightly higher level, but if you look at the head-to-head last 2 matches on clay, the first one's misleading because the match carried on, didn't it? Even though Musetti was clearly unable to move, so it was a lopsided score in favour of Djokovic. So the last 2 matches on clay, service points won and return points won totals. Djokovic 103 to Musetti's 97. That's not a big gap, as you've said. It shouldn't translate to odds of about, well, he was 1.15 when I looked at this earlier. Looks like he's eased a bit now. That's minus 667. I think he's eased a little bit now, hasn't he, on the money line? But it's still very, very short. And certainly I wouldn't be going anywhere near that, even in parlays. The good thing for Musetti, in my opinion here, is that this match, I'm assuming this match, we don't know the schedule, but I'm assuming this match is going to be on Chatrier. I'm also assuming it's going to be the night match.
I think we actually do know the scheduling.
Yeah,
I think this is scheduled for 7:15, 2:15 p.m. local time in US time.
Is it on Chatrier?
It is the night. It's on Chatrier on the night.
Yeah, so that's perfect then for Musetti because he's just played on Chatrier. He's just played a night match on Chatrier against Monfils and won it. So I always find that's a bit of a bonus for someone that perhaps doesn't play on those courts quite as regularly as Novak Djokovic does. So I think that's a bonus, a positive for Musetti that it's being played on that same court. I do think it suits him, Chatrier, because there's a lot of room on there. It's a very, very big court. There's a lot of room to defend, which is why Nadal's virtually unbeatable on there, because he's got so much room to defend, so much room to manoeuvre, and that's what Musetti likes as well. But the solidity of Novak Djokovic, the Novak Djokovic of the past, or maybe still the present, we don't really know, that does pose a big problem for Musetti. I just think he has to really redline his game to win sets. I'm not sure I see him winning 3 sets. I could certainly see him winning 1. So the question for bettors here is, do you think Novak Djokovic can still last in these longer rallies? Or perhaps more importantly, does he want to last in these long rallies? Because a lot of the time in this clay swing, we've seen him bail out. He's not interested in playing really long rallies. I suspect he will be here. I think he'd be more inclined to do them here. And I suspect that's what will get him over the line against Musetti in this match. I'd say I don't think it's too comfortable. So my leans here, Djokovic to win this match by 3-1 is a perfectly good option, plus 235 at Bet Rivers. Or, as you said, the set ones, the opening sets, have tended to be pretty competitive between these two. Set 1 over 10.5 games, plus 245 at Bet Rivers. Those are my 2 wages of interest in that match.
I'm coming at it with getting with Musetti plus 6.5. I'm coming at it with getting Musetti plus a set and a half. I like Musetti
similar
on the overs
thinking, yeah.
total games. Yeah, and I do think Djokovic is beatable here. I think if Musetti believes he can beat him, and I don't think Djokovic has that fear factor as he has over the years. Obviously, he's the world number 1. He's the best player in the world. But I just think that the players who've watched his recently in the last month or so realise they can get to him. And I think Musetti, with the crowd behind him, will really give Djokovic a tough test here. I think it's I think there's a potential an upset here.
The jury's out for me on Musetti in terms of big match temperament. I'm not convinced. I'm not sure he has that self-belief that the very best players have. He may well, he should believe that he could beat Djokovic because he's already beaten him. But too many times for me when he's on these big stages against the big players, he's kind of frozen. I think it was Alcaraz he played here last year. He just didn't show up at all. And he kind of admitted as much afterwards. So mentally, I think he's got a little way to go. I'm not sure I see him winning 3 sets here, but overs, as you said, Djokovic 3-1, that's kind of the areas I think we need to be looking at.
Yep, we're expecting a struggle for the world number 1 and number 1 seed. Sean believes that he will show enough quality and edge the match. I think I give Musetti a chance. I think the crowd will be so pumped up, and I think in play, if you took a bit of $4, you'll be able to hedge or get out of your position in play. I don't like doing the hedging. I'm in it to win it. And
the money line.
But if you want to play that strategy,
Djokovic, yeah.
Just one thing we haven't mentioned, Sean, just before we go on to the next match, which is another interesting one, is the conditions. Obviously, this match is 100% going to be the night match. So it's the conditions. It's raining again now. Is that affecting anything here? Is there anything that you would sort of use for a caution to anybody playing on these matches?
Are we talking about Djokovic or generally?
Or just general, really?
Yeah, I mean, as far as these are Saturday's matches, aren't they? So it's not supposed to rain Saturday. It's just going to be cloudy. Around about 15 degrees, so kind of cool, little bit windy. It's obviously not sunny, so the courts aren't going to speed up, so I imagine they're going to play as we've seen them play. I have got the stats actually of the first 69 matches, I think it was, and the stats are exactly the same as last year. Even though it was a lot warmer last year, it's still on the slow side. 74% holds, 68% first serve points won. That's slightly down on the sort of longer term average of the French Open, but yeah, slow conditions. I'll talk about that a little bit more in the next match that we're going to talk about.
Yeah, and remember, if you do want to place a bet, or you do place a bet on the BetRivers app, you'll be able to watch these matches live on the BetRivers website or the app. So if you place a bet, you'll be able to bet live and watch live with BetRivers. The next match Sean wants to talk about is a very interesting one, and I'm shocked by the betting. When the lines come through and you sent me this game, I was really, really surprised to see the prices as they were. Tommy Paul, the American, is minus 136. You wouldn't really say that clay was his service, despite playing well in recent weeks. Francisco Cerundolo, the Argentinian, though, is more of a clay court specialist, and he's plus 110 to win this match. The spread is minus 1.5, with Paul minus 115, Cerundolo minus 110. The total here is 38.5, which may appear high, but when you look at the head-to-head record between these two, they met 5 times previously. 3-2 is the head-to-head in favour of Cerundolo, but every single one of those matches has gone to a final set. And the last time they met was in Madrid on clay, and Cerundolo edged that after losing the first set in a tiebreak 7-6. If you look at their matches, 3 of the first 5 sets have gone to tiebreaks, and 2 of the second sets have gone to tiebreaks as well. So you would expect a very close game here, a very close match, but I'm surprised Cerundolo is the underdog.
Yeah, I mean, they've played on quick conditions generally, where you'd favour Tommy Paul. Even the one on clay was in Madrid, where it's quick. If we look at the all-time head-to-head on all services, I can see why Paul's priced up as favourite here. The all-time head-to-head, Paul leads it 102 to 98 in terms of service points won and return points won. But as I've said, they're all played in quick conditions where you would favour Tommy Paul. But even so, Cerundolo's won 3 of the 5. Now it's going to be slower. I'm just looking at the TV here with the Rublev match on. It does look, from what I've seen of it before, today and in previous days, it certainly isn't quick, and I feel like Cerundolo is at his best when it is slower, so any more rain or non-speeding up of the conditions, which is what we're going to get, I think that's just going to favour Cerundolo. These two are good mates, actually. They practice together quite a lot, because Tommy Paul's got a lot of Argentinians in his training camp. So they know each other's games inside out. As you've said, they played 5 times before on the tour. But the reason Paul is priced up as favourite is he's got better clay stats this past 12 months. That's why he's favourite. But if we look at the stats at this particular tournament, which I feel the conditions do favour Cerundolo, his stats are better than Tommy Paul's. Service points won and return points won total of 104, and a hold and break total of 112, which is excellent for a Grand Slam. And Tommy Paul's stats have been boosted by the fact that he absolutely thrashed what's left of Fabio Fognini yesterday. But his stats still aren't as good. 103 and 107 his totals are at this tournament. So at the French Open, Cerundolo has the better numbers. But I think the key to all this is the fact that it's slow. I think Cerundolo's got the greater power. I mean, if you've ever seen Cerundolo up close, his forehand is frightening. It's so powerful. He can do a lot with it. Problem is he can go AWOL at any time, and the game completely goes off the rails, which is why he's perhaps not done as well as he ought to, as his talent suggests he ought to have done. But I think it just slightly favours Cerundolo. What are the current odds on this? I've got them on my screen. We have to move things around.
Cerundolo is the
plus
underdog.
110.
Plus 110. I think it's a big price.
Yeah, I think it's priced up just about right. My lean here would be Cerundolo on the money line. I've got a bet that I prefer coming up later, but if I wasn't having that one, then this one would be very high in my considerations for taking on. I think Cerundolo is the bet here if you're having a bet in that match.
Yeah, I like Cerundolo bet, and also like the over 38.5 games. I think this could go all the way, and I think this could be a really, really interesting in-play match. Remember, Bet Rivers have a special French Open in-play bet insurance each day of the French Open at Bet Rivers Sportsbook. If your first French Open in-play wager loses, you will get a bonus back equal to 50% of your bet. Good on your first bet, in-play bet each day of Roland-Garros. Minimum odds of minus 150 or longer. Good for up to $25 back in bonus wagers. See the Bet Rivers app for full details. And if you're going to look at an in-play match that is going to go a long distance, this certainly looks the one tomorrow. That match is scheduled for 8:15 a.m. Eastern time, so you better wake up nice and early and be able to watch it on your Bet Rivers app. So watch live and bet live with Bet Rivers. Let's move on to the next match. As Alexander Zverev, who's been in absolute sensational form, we did have the price here at minus 770, but since we've recorded that line has even gone stronger. Zverev here is minus 910 from minus 770. Crazy numbers, but he is arguably playing the best tennis in the world right now. Tallon Griekspoor is $6 to win this match. The spread is 6.5, minus 121 for Zverev, giving up 6.5. Plus 6.5 for Griekspoor is minus 106, and the total here is 34.5 with the marginal favourite at minus 320. The head-to-head makes not really that much interesting reading, but Zverev holds a 3-1 winning advantage, as you would expect. The last time Griekspoor won was in Rotterdam in 2023, but this will be the first time the pair have met on clay. Alexander Zverev, I know we've spoken about him in the build-up. You thought that the bookies were quite short on his odds. Mm-hmm. I've actually bet him, but I bet him a long time before when the lines come out. Is he a potential winner, and have you got a bit of a rebase on him, what you've seen so far?
Yeah, he's a potential winner. I just think he's very short for this match because he doesn't go well in slow, heavy conditions. You know, he's admitted it himself. He plays better generally in places like Madrid, where it's quick. Rome, obviously, we had him as the winner there, didn't we? It was reasonably paced there. It wasn't slow. So, yes, he's obviously a potential winner. The problem I had at the start, and I still have to some degree, is that I just think that price is too short. He's got some very difficult matches to come. And those odds, for me, didn't represent his actual chance of winning. So that's why I didn't back him. But, excuse me, as far as this match is concerned, it's an interesting one because we talked about Griekspoor, didn't we? And he said he was injured. He said he was, couldn't sleep because of the pain and all this sort of stuff against the Darderi match, and then he came out and won it in straight sets. Although there was a significant rain delay, which Darderi didn't handle particularly well at all. Assuming he's fit to play, and if we're going on what he says he is. He says he feels a lot better now. I think it's going to be closer than these odds suggest. I think that's much too short on Zverev. I think he's going to win it, but I don't think he's going to win it that easily. And that's purely because I think the conditions are a little heavy for him. They're probably too heavy for Griekspoor as well, but I've seen Zverev play numerous times in Munich when it's been heavy, and he's been dreadful, including this year when he lost to Christian Garin. So if you look at the last three matches in their head-to-head, it's heavily serve-dominated. I mean, Zverev, 92% holds of serve. Griekspoor, 87% holds of serve. And Griekspoor's won more first serve points than Zverev has in those three meetings. 79% of first serve points won. Griekspoor, 76% Zverev. And even at Indian Wells, where it's slow and high bouncing, as people will know, Griekspoor should have won the first set this year when they played at Indian Wells. I remember that match. I think I had Griekspoor to win the first set, and he served for the first set, choked it. Then he was 5-2 up in the tie-break, managed to lose that as well. Then he had a couple of set points, didn't take them, and he ended up doing one of the best racket smashes of the year. So even in slow, high-bouncing conditions, Zverev's found him a difficult guy to deal with on first serve. So if Griekspoor is fit, I think your angle here, if you're having a bet on this match, is the set one overs. I think that's quite decent. Plus 215, set one over 10.5 games, that is. Or potentially over 34.5 games at minus 111. The thing that puts me off over total games is I'm not sure how fit Griekspoor is. But he certainly should be fit for an opening set with the painkillers and stuff that he's taking for that arm problem. So, again, if you're betting on that match, set one overs, I think, is the way to go, given the stats and the matchup and the way it's gone.
Yeah, and remember that Zverev went to tiebreak in the last match against Goffin, 7-6, and then he came through.
He said he doesn't like it.
This,
the conditions are heavy. He said it many times. I don't like it, so it would worry me putting him in at that price. He'll win this match, I'm sure, but I don't think it'll be that easy.
Yeah, he is being heavily bet, currently minus 910 with Brett Rivers. I do like the overs in set number one, and Zverev has, like I say, tie-break against Goffin, and Griekspoor's record this year with tie-breaks is very, very high. He's a sort of Mr. Reliable to go to for tie-breaks, so over 10.5 he might even want to go a bit more adventurous and go a little bit higher on the line. Head across the Bet Rivers, about 45 different markets currently, probably 60 different markets by the time this match starts, and this match will schedule to start, again, I think it's 8:30 tomorrow morning. One match, the final match we're going to speak about, is the early match. This match starts at 5 a.m. on court number 14. So it's the first match on court. And it's between Alex de Minaur up against Jan-Lennard Struff. Now, I am pretty shocked by the odds here. I'm pretty surprised to see de Minaur the favourite, but he is. He's minus 122. Struff is even money. Struff has had an unbelievable clay swing. 11 wins, 3 losses. The money is coming for de Minaur continuously, and it's still coming. I mean, yeah, I don't understand it. He hasn't dropped the set in the 2 matches he's played, but he's played Mickelson and Minaur, this is a massive up level against Struff.
Yeah,
a confident Struff. The spread is 1.5, minus 104 de Minaur, minus 122 Struff getting the start. The total game is interesting, 37.5 with over minus 122 and under minus 105. And if you look at the head-to-head between the two of them, it's 3-2 to Alex de Minaur. As you would expect, a lot of those wins on hard courts and outdoor courts and indoor courts as well. But in Monte Carlo last year, Struff demolished him 6-3, 6-2 in a very one-sided win. And he's arguably a better player now than he was then. I'm staggered that Struff's underdog here. I thought that he would be. I thought the odds would be the other way around, and I'm really surprised that the money is coming for the Australian.
I'm surprised that the money. I didn't know the money was coming for the Australian. I thought Struff was seeing a bit of support when I looked earlier. I think the plus 100 is a shorter price than it was earlier on, but I'm not sure why people are coming for de Minaur, to be honest. Struff looks the best of the underdogs to me on Saturday. We had Struff, didn't we, in Munich? Again, I mentioned it a few minutes ago about Zverev, but it was very slow and heavy and cold that week, and Struff was brilliant. And we know that Alex de Minaur's favourite conditions are quick hard courts or grass. He's not keen on slow, heavy clay. And statistically, Struff leads all of the stats. Last 12 months on clay at main level, de Minaur's shown a very good improvement. His stats are really good. 105 service points won and return points won total, and a service hold and break total of 113. Yeah, that's really good. It's not as good as Struff, though. Struff's on 109 in his service points won and return points won total, and 115 on his hold and break total. So on the pure main level clay stats, you would make Struff favourite. If we look at what they've done in their careers at this tournament, de Minaur's historically been poor here. 42% win rate, service points won and return points won total of 99. Struff better, 10% better win rate, 52%. And the service points won and return points won, total of 102. You could certainly argue that de Minaur is now an improved player on clay. Yes, we've said that from the stats, but he's still not as good as Struff. And I think the 2 matches he's had here were, if he could have handpicked, he probably wouldn't have handpicked Minaur because he's a pest. But Mickelson on clay is perfect for someone like de Minaur. Minaur is slightly more complicated because he makes a lot of balls, but he's he hasn't really got what it takes to beat de Minaur even on the clay. And they're head-to-head, most of which, in fact all of which, apart from one, have been played on hard courts. That also favours Struff, 103 to 97 in terms of service points won and return points won. And as you said, the one meeting that was played on clay, which was a Monte Carlo, wasn't it? Similar conditions to here, and it was easily won by Struff as a plus 138 underdog. So de Minaur was favourite for that one as well, which is quite strange. But yeah, all told, if it is slow, which it is, the players like Cerundolo, like Struff, they've got the power to hit through these courts. And de Minaur, yes, he's added a bit more pop to his game in recent times, but at this price, I'm more than happy to take a chance on Struff here. I think he should be the favourite, slight favourite.
Totally agree with that. I mean, there's only 3 players who've beaten Struff this year on clay. Do you know who they are?
One of them's Alcaraz.
Alcaraz.
Who else has he lost to on clay? It's 2 of them. No, one of them's Alcaraz. I can't remember the other 2, to be honest.
Sinner and Tsitsipas. They're the only 3 people who've beaten Struff.
And he was close in all them. Well, maybe not Sinner, but he was close in the Tsitsipas match, and he should have beaten Alcaraz, really. So, yeah. Statistically, head-to-head conditions, for me, it all favours Struff. I'm not sure that price will be there by the time this comes out, but if it is, or if anything like, then I think that's definitely the bet of the day.
I think it will. I think it will be there. I mean, I'm looking at the move, and the move is for de Minaur now. Yeah, I mean, we're plus 8.4 units, and we look to continue that trend going into the second week. Now, this will be the final one. It's an extra one there because we didn't think we were going to have any shows. I know there's not really much soccer content available on the YouTube channel at the moment, but there is a big football match tomorrow at Wembley Stadium, the Champions League final between Real Madrid, who are bidding to win their 15th Champions League trophy, up against Borussia Dortmund. And there was a great show with our handicappers on Betting Weekly Extra Time. You can download the podcast and you can also watch that. Make sure you download this podcast, Betting Weekly Game Bet Match, on your preferred podcast provider. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. We have had a huge week of subscribers and viewers on this tennis show, so thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for subscribing. Some great comments. Give us your comments. Can Musetti beat Djokovic? Is the Djokovic going to go on and win this tournament and justify his number 1 ranking? I'm not so sure. Is Tommy Paul a bet against Cerundolo? There's a whole host of other matches in action as well. Make sure you subscribe to Betting Weekly Studios on YouTube, and make sure you follow us on Instagram and on Twitter on our handle @BecauseWeWin. I'll be giving you some picks tomorrow from Wembley Stadium when I'm going to the Champions League final, so I'll be there tomorrow, and I'll be giving you some live information there, some live picks. And as the tournament goes on next week, more tennis stuff will be on the Instagram page as well. Sean, thank you very much for joining us. I know it's an extra little one. I called it a little bit late this morning, but I thought the views have been so good that I thought we might as well continue where we left off and hopefully get some winners. Remember that offer with Bet Rivers, French Open in-play bet insurance on your first in-play wager. And also remember, you can watch live and stream live. So watch and stream the matches. If you bet live and you watch live with Bet Rivers, if you place a bet on anything on the French Open, you better watch it from your tablet or your mobile device. That's it for this week. Good luck with your wagers. I think it's a day for the dogs tomorrow. I really do. Musetti, Struff and Paul. Little parlay for me. Hope you can cash some tickets, and good luck with your wagers, and see you all again on Sunday. Take care.